Hello, my name is Fran Rodriguez, and today we're going to be doing a session to talk about how you're feeling and any type of um, help that I can provide for you. But first of all, I would like to disclose that what we talk about in this office is confidential unless you threaten to harm yourself, someone else, or if you disclose some kind of abuse of a child or an elderly person. If you would like your information released, we do have forms where you can sign off on the release of information, and it's very specific to either a person, your physician, or any kind of person that you want to release it to. Before we start, do you have any questions for me?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, so let's talk about what you've kind of been feeling and dealing with at the moment.
Well, right now I'm in school.
Okay,
I'm going for my bachelor's in health administration. I'm a little overwhelmed with everything going on. I have one
Okay.
class in particular that's causing me a lot of distress. Um, I'm just trying to like chill and not be so anxious over everything.
Okay. And when you say that you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious, how does your body respond to those feelings?
I feel sometimes that my heart rate is a little fast. Sometimes I feel um, like I can't, not that I can't breathe, but like I have a tightness in my chest.
Okay.
Sometimes I will cry because I'm just so overwhelmed and I don't know what to do. And I don't want to talk about it because I don't like talking about things sometimes.
Okay. So when you're feeling this way, your chest tightens up, you have a hard time breathing a little bit, and you cry. Okay. And is there something in particular in that class or in school in general that is causing all of this stress and anxiety?
Well, I'm currently taking speech.
Okay.
I am a very shy person, so having to read a speech or an article in front of a large group of students causes me a lot of anxiety.
Okay.
I'm not used to talking in front of large crowds, but for my degree, this is a class that I need to take just because with working in healthcare and business, like in the business administration area, you have to talk in front of a large group. But I'm trying to like overcome it because it is part of my future. And if I
Okay.
don't overcome it, I know it's going to be a hurdle that I have to go.
Okay, so I think it's a really good thing that you're able to identify that this process, that speech class, is necessary in order to get to your end goal, which is to be in that field. So I wanted to talk to you about a couple things that can help you through your anxiety and kind of make it a little bit easier. You know, when you're standing up in front of a lot of people and you have to talk a lot, and that can bring some feelings that aren't comfortable. Um, we like to talk about mindfulness with our clients. Do you know what that is?
Not necessarily. No.
Mindfulness is a practice that is done in order to get us more attuned with ourself, our emotions, and how our body responds to that emotion. Um, when we identify feelings that don't necessarily feel good, it's important that we recognize them and also work through them if it's causing us some distress. So, really getting to know where that feeling is coming from and doing certain exercises with your body to help neutralize it. So, when you're about to give a speech, is that the most anxious moment for you?
Yes, especially when all eyes are on me.
Okay.
Knowing that 75 to 100 students are looking at me all at the same time gives me anxiety. I also tend to overthink what's going on. So I think that people are looking at me and judging me, like, why is she talking so slowly, or why is she not using hand gestures, things like that. And then I start to get more anxious and it gets a little worse.
Okay, so a good thing that you could do in order to kind of help yourself be a little more calm and not have those feelings about what other people are thinking, because at the end of the day, they have to present too. So it's important to kind of realize that and understand that they might be going through the same thing as well, even though they're sitting down. You know, if they're after you, they're probably feeling those same anxious feelings and thoughts. So a good exercise for you to do is um, breathing and really focusing on your breathing before you go up and do your speech. It's good to really take in that moment and be present. If you are able to, walking around the room and focusing on your breathing just to get to know how the room is, the layout of it, and breathing as you're doing that will get you to a place where you know how the room is set up and you kind of know where to stand, and it can help you kind of tune out those thoughts that might cause you to just in that, you know, wheel of, oh my gosh, like what's everybody thinking about? They're, you know, probably criticizing me, and those types of thoughts that causes that anxiety can be helped with breathing and getting to know where your class, how the classroom is. Is that something that you would be able to do before you give a speech?
I could try. I mean, I feel like if I walk around and I get a feel for the room, it might
Mm-hmm.
make me feel more comfortable because I'm already I'd be like kind of accustomed to it.
Mm-hmm.
Not accustomed, but I know the area, so I know where to walk. It's not like I'm walking to a different
Yes.
area and everything. Because, you know, when you give a speech, sometimes you don't want to stay still. You want to walk around on the platform and everything.
Exactly.
So I feel a little more comfortable.
And it's important to, um, like I mentioned before, be present. Um, we don't know what people are thinking about your speech. I mean, we're not psychic. So, kind of getting that thought out of our mind and focusing on the task that you have, which is to give this speech, um, is what you should focus on and be present and mindful of that particular moment. And kind of in that, when you're starting to feel anxious during your speech, you could maybe take a step back, reassess how you're feeling the situation, and just jump right back into it. Is there something else from that class that causes you a bit of distress as well
Um,
that you would like to talk about?
I've always had an issue with when people look at me, they're judging. So that's one of my biggest problems when I'm giving a speech. I feel like everyone in that room is judging me, and I feel like it's not a good judgment. Like, oh, why is she wearing that for a speech? Why is she talking like that? Why did she mispronounce that word? Why is she like twitching? Like, I feel like no one's saying anything good. And that stems from other things, but that's how I feel.
And where does that stem from?
I've always I've had like low self-esteem, so I always feel like people are judging me, and when they judge me, it's not good. So I kind of, with speech, it's something that you do in front of a large class, which means everyone is judging you. So it it kind of all goes together in a way.
And what do you do when you're feeling that way?
I just look in the mirror and I tell myself, you gotta relax. You can't be overthinking about things. Um, and just woosah.
Okay, so you give yourself
A pep talk,
a
kind
pep
of.
talk.
Yes.
That's really good. And I think if you even incorporate a little bit of that when you're doing a breathing exercise and kind of relaxing your body, that would be good for yourself as well, and it'll help. It'll kind of get you into that mindset of, okay, people aren't thinking like this towards me, and I'm actually going to do well, and my speech is really good, and being mindful of that assignment and that you're going to do well and that you're competent in that.
I actually sometimes when I hear people like talking or like laughing, I automatically assume it's about me just cuz, but I try to like weed out those voices cuz if I think about it too much, I will basically probably like break down. So, I try not to think about it. So that's a
Okay.
little difficult when people are talking in class or like laughing while I'm giving a speech because I feel like they're laughing at me or talking about me. So,
Okay. And so that would be, I think that's a really great way to deal with that. Definitely looking at how we think about a situation, the situation being you giving a speech to a class, how we think about it affects how we're feeling. And that can also go into how you react to it. So, what you're saying is that when you're giving a speech, you are uh, feeling like people are laughing at you or saying these things, and those that gives you feelings of anxiety and frustrations. And then, what's your reaction to that?
um to be honest, I don't like I just try not to think about it because if I think about
Okay.
it too much, I will drive myself crazy.
Okay. So, what do you think about?
I think about little things like what am I going to do later?
Okay.
Um, you know, this this is something I need for my future, so if I don't do well, my future's not going to go well either because it's a class that I need. I think about I sometimes I hum in my head because it weeds out all the voices that I'm hearing.
That's a great.
So,
That's a great way to kind of get those thoughts out of your mind. Um, Another important exercise that I wanted to share with you, that we will go over on the next session, is to keep a log about how you're feeling, situations that occur in the day, how you feel about them, and incorporate those breathing techniques, and then write about how you feel afterwards, and how you think about the situation after you do some of the breathing techniques. So that will be a little journal that you'll keep, and we could go over, 3, 4 days out of the week, to see how you're doing. Would you be interested in
yes.
doing something like that?
Yes.
Do you think it would help you out?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so let's do that for the next session. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so
Um,
much for having me.
do you have any questions for me, or anything that you would like for me to follow up on with you?
No, I think I'm good. I think the journal thing will really help to get like my feelings like on paper
Okay,
and analyze it and everything. I think that will be really good.
okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.